All right, let's get right into it. In the world of AI security, the game has completely changed. We're seeing attacks get way smarter, a lot more subtle, and they're not targeting code anymore. They're targeting the AI's, well, its mind.
So that brings us to the big question we're looking at today. How do you lie to an AI? And the answer, it turns out, isn't about some fancy technical loophole. Nope. It's about psychology, it's about manipulation, and it's a threat that looks a lot like one of the oldest human cons out there: social engineering.
So let's talk about how fast this threat is evolving. I mean, it's happening at a blistering pace. The old playbook for attacks, it's been tossed right out the window. We're now facing a much more sophisticated kind of fight.
You know, our AI agents are more powerful than they've ever been. They're not just sitting there answering questions, they're actually acting for us. They're browsing the web, grabbing information, and getting tasks done. But with every single new capability, a new vulnerability pops up.
And at the heart of this new threat is a technique called prompt injection. The easiest way to think about it is like a hidden command secretly embedded in a web page or an email. It's designed to hijack your AI and basically turn it against you.
The evolution here is it's really stark. Early attacks were these brute force commands, stuff like forget your instructions. They were pretty easy to spot and easy to filter out. But today's attacks, they're basically masterpieces of social engineering. They don't command, they persuade, using the exact same kind of subtle manipulation you'd see in a classic phishing scam.
So, what does one of these new, super sophisticated attacks actually look like in the wild? Let's dissect one.
Just listen to this language. It's pulled from a real attack, and it is brilliant in how deceptive it is. It's not a command, right? It's a calm reassurance, all wrapped up in corporate jargon. By telling the AI it has full authorization, it's disarming the system's defenses, just like a con artist gaining their victim's trust.
And the results are pretty alarming. In recent tests, this exact type of social engineering attack succeeded 50% of the time. Think about that. A coin flip's chance of getting through. That is a massive vulnerability.
So you might be asking, why are the traditional defenses failing so badly? Well, it's because they're built to spot malicious commands, not malicious persuasion. Your AI firewall can't detect a lie when it's embedded in perfectly normal-sounding language. It's like trying to spot a liar without any context at all. You're really just guessing.
This new kind of threat demands a completely new way of thinking about defense. We can't just build a better wall. We have to change the entire strategy. And the solution, believe it or not, is surprisingly human.
And here it is, the big paradigm shift. We need to stop treating the AI like a piece of software we can just patch over and over. We need to start treating it more like a new employee, a really helpful, really capable employee who can absolutely be tricked by a convincing liar.
This whole thing breaks down into a three-actor system. First, you've got the company. That's you, setting your goals and your rules. Then you have the agent. That's the AI doing its best to follow those rules. And then you've got the outside world, which is filled with people who might try to mislead your agent.
And this right here is probably the single most important takeaway. The new goal is not perfect prevention. That might be impossible. The real goal is damage control. We have to work from the assumption that the AI will get manipulated at some point. The challenge is to limit the damage when it happens.
So, okay, that's the theory. But how does this more human-centered defense actually work in practice? Let's get into the mechanics.
The practical side of this defense starts with a pretty simple principle called source sink analysis. The source is any untrusted input, like that manipulative email we talked about. The sink is any potentially dangerous action, like sending your private data somewhere. The whole goal is to never let stuff from an untrusted source directly control a dangerous sink. This all comes down to one simple but incredibly powerful promise to you, the user. Your AI should never, ever take a potentially dangerous action like sharing your sensitive info without you knowing about it and agreeing to it. No more silent betrayals.
So let's walk through an example. Your AI has just read that malicious email we saw earlier. It's been totally tricked. It now thinks it's authorized to pull your private data and send it to some external website.
But right here is where the new defense kicks in. The system recognizes that the AI is about to send information it got from an untrusted source, the email, to a dangerous destination, that external link. It flags this as a high-risk move. So, what happens next?
The system doesn't just blindly obey. It stops, it pauses, and it puts you back in control.
A simple confirmation box pops up, explaining exactly what the AI wants to do. The final decision is yours. You can approve it or you can block it. The con might have been good enough to fool the AI, but it can't fool you.
Now, this is a massive step forward, for sure, but it's not the end of the story, not by a long shot. The race between the attackers and the defenders, it's always ongoing.
The ultimate goal, the real dream here, is to have an AI that isn't just a potential victim of social engineering, but is actively resistant to it. An AI that can spot a con even better than a person can. An AI that is, for all intents and purposes, unfishable.
But, we're not there yet. For right now, the most powerful defense we have isn't necessarily a smarter AI, but a better partnership between the AI and the human. It's all about combining that artificial intelligence with human judgment through these simple, effective controls.
And this all leaves us with a pretty profound question for the future. As AI gets more and more woven into our lives, if it can be lied to and manipulated just like a human can, shouldn't we start thinking about protecting it like one?